Welcome back to another Borderlands 3 video of wish lists. And in this video, it's more about what I wish they don't do. The topic here is what to take away from other games. Popular things suggested have been things as making an MMO, PvP, all sorts of different objects here. So I will just start with the MMO. I really don't want this, and I don't think Gearbox is going to do this. Gearbox appreciates making Borderlands, and kind of like I talked in the hyperbole video, I think if they were going to make an MMO, they'd make an MMO, and they wouldn't make Borderlands MMO. They would make just a new game, kind of like Battleborn is a PvP game. Now, I'm not opposed to taking some MMO elements, but I don't think we are going to see an MMO. I don't want to see an MMO. But I'll get to some more MMO topics as I go here. But kind of moving shortly into PvP, this is another thing. No, don't give us more PvP. In fact, if anything, take duels out. Part of what makes Borderlands so great, and there's a lot of things I'm going to be talking about within this video, of like the fabric or the character or the makeup of, you know, what makes Borderlands Borderlands, what is its personality. With all of its big, how do you correctly put this? God, I'm at a loss of words here, sorry. The big skills, the big weapons, all that stuff, it's not friendly to PvP. And I don't want them to have to change the fabric of this game to kind of tailor to that. You know, they're making Battleborn PvP, and well, Battleborn's got me really interested and it seems really cool. You know, the skill trees and stuff on Battleborn are not what's in Borderlands. And, you know, that's something to, I guess, think of and keep consideration of. Once you enter in that PvP thing, you are so much more limited in what you can do. And I don't want them to be limited on awesome skills and skill trees because they have to balance it for PvP. You know, once again, the Battleborn skill trees, well, it's cool they have skill trees. They're not Borderlands skill trees. They're not nearly Borderlands skill trees. You know, they're more game changers and really small increments, and it's not big things. I like the big things of Borderlands. That's kind of become what it is. It's a game with big personality and big everything. So by taking that stuff out, you are kind of destroying the fabric of Borderlands. And that's why I think they should just ignore PvP altogether. And, you know, just don't do it. We don't need it. You know, Borderlands has always been co-op co-op solo. And that's where they should continue that focus. Let's not change focus of that. But also, you know, in the audience, you have a big part of the audience of this game that is, you know, solo players. And I love the fact that Gearbox really pays attention to solo players and honors them. And I think once you know, enter in PvP and go into a lot of those things, you start to get rid of it. So I really hope they ignore PvP. Where is this crit spot? I don't even know which one I'm shooting at here. And just kind of stay away from the pressures of people talking about that with games like Destiny and Division. So those are kind of two big topics out of the way. Next is weapon crafting. Now this is one where I can see the merits of it, but I also don't want it. You guys might say I'm stupid for not weapon crafting, but whoa. Well, that was silly of me. Well, I would, part of me would like it where I can go to a machine and change out parts and all that stuff. I could see some minor weapon crafting where it would be really expensive, where you could do it occasionally on a few guns. But, you know, have kind of hard limits on it. I don't think that would be the end of the world. But I don't want it where you just spend all this time, like, making a super gun and get too attached to guns, because Borderlands is about, you know, finding new gear, and end game is different from main game here. But while you're leveling up, it's about finding the new guns. When I was doing my Borderlands 1 playthrough, I don't know if you guys, you know, caught this or not, but I spent a lot of time bitching about I wasn't finding enough new guns, and I was just using the same guns forever. I don't want to just use the same gun while I'm leveling up. I've got endgame for that. And Gearbox designed Borderlands to kind of be, you're constantly throwing your guns away for better games. You're not hoarding guns. Now, a lot of people decided to play it differently, and that's fine. You know, you can do whatever you want. But I don't think Borderlands or Gearbox should, you know, change that part of their game. And once you enter in too much crafting, you make it a hoarding game, and you're just going to get this gun, you're going to keep putting money and time and effort into it, and you're not really experiencing a lot of that game. Most games with weapon crafting have maybe, you know, 100 guns, and what they do is, you know, use crafting to override the fact that they've got a tiny amount of guns, you know. In Borderlands, we have got billions of guns and weapons variation. Maybe it's not actually billions, maybe it's millions. But there's a ton of loot in these games. And how is that not a crisp spot? But, yeah, I don't really want a lot of weapon crafting. I wouldn't mind the option of having some where, you know, maybe each gun you can only do it once, and it's really expensive to do it, and you can change one part. You know, something minor like that I could see. But I don't want... I think too much of that's going to be bad in the game, and it's going to make you spend too much time in your menu and not enough time in the game. And that's a balance that Gearbox has done incredibly well, is balancing combat versus menu time. It's something I learned while playing the Division beta, is that game had terrible menu time, and the menus were kind of convoluted and not really not intuitive at all. And I was spending way too much time in the menu. And granted, I was only playing it for a little bit, and I was still learning it, but it wasn't built to go in and out of your menu quickly and just keep playing the game for kind of an action RPG. It was, yeah, too much of that for sure. And Borderlands is really good about keeping menu time down and keeping you in the action and keeping you playing. So I just think adding in weapon crafting can be one of those things that makes you spend too much time in there and not enough time just killing shit. It was terrible. Couldn't stabilize while jumping. There we go. Down goes badass. So yeah, that's my thoughts on weapon crafting. You know, the grinder was kind of like, you know, weapon crafting for beginners, I guess. And I wouldn't mind a little upgrading on that, but I want them to keep it light if they do. Maybe you can change out an accessory. I wouldn't mind that, you know, pay 100 iridium to change out an accessory, but you can only do it once. Or maybe you can change out each part once, but I don't want upgrading of stuff. So I can see minor, you know, weapon crafting once again with changing a few parts, but I really would not want to see massive, like, upgrading and all that stuff. I think that would just hurt the game and slow it down. There we go. I knew that guy was coming out. So the next one that is a popular thing is character customization. This is another thing where I think it goes against the fabric of what is Borderlands. In a lot of RPGs, you kind of play a shell of a character, but you can pretty much make that person look whatever you want, and they have all this customization. I knew a guy like that was coming. I think there should be one more car, but I'll just get my stingray here. So, you know, Skyrim's a good example of that. You can take this character and make him whatever you want, and it's so cool and all this stuff, but no, I hate it. I think it's terrible. Well, I don't hate it in those games, but I don't think it's what this game should be. Borderlands, you are playing a character, and actually this topic and this point is why I'm playing Aurelia. Because in Borderlands, like I said, the character you're playing is really important, and you're not just playing an empty shell. So Anthony Birch talked a little bit about this when Aurelia was coming out here, and talked about designing her and designing characters in general. And with Aurelia, they started with her personality, and they do this with all their characters, but she was the example, where they start with the personality and then they move into the skills. So Aurelia here, once again, was a really rich, snobby, kind of a bitchy, dominating woman. So where do her skills come from? She's got a sniping tree because she's not the type to get her hands dirty. And that makes a whole lot of sense. Whoa, that got hit hard. The next, because kind of like the cold-hearted part of it, you know, that's where you got the cryo tree. And then because she's, you know, this really rich woman, that's where you get the servant tree. So all of her skills and character design came from her personality. And Nisha was the same way, and all the characters, Claptrap, and that's how they design the characters. So like in Skyrim, you're playing in this world, but your character is just this really boring empty shell. And by doing that in Borderlands, you're really ruining it. Now, some people have also came up with the idea, well, you should at least have, like, the ability to choose a gender. But these characters are also part of a story. So, you know, you can't really make sirens into men because in the lore of the whole game, sirens are only women. So, you know, how do you justify that in the lore? You can't. And sure, the game has some plot holes, yada, yada, yada. But that's... yeah, I think that's just bad. That would not be good for the game. It would not really be good for anything. You know, the gender bender cosplay is really cool. I dig that stuff, but it's not for the actual game. And that would just ruin it. You know... believe it or not, especially with Borderlands 1, you know, story was a complaint about it. It's become a really rich fabric of a, you know, story, especially going into Tales of the Borderlands and all this stuff. So I don't like changing those characters or not having those characters. I just really despise that idea. So those are kind of the top 4 topics that I hear, and I don't want any of them. Like, I want Borderlands to be Borderlands. You know, Skyrim is Skyrim. Destiny is Destiny. Borderlands is Borderlands. We don't need Borderlands to be Destiny. We don't need Borderlands to be Skyrim or Fallout or The Division. We already have those games, and Borderlands is its own unique thing. You know, the action or the shooter FPS RPG has really, you know, come around more in these games. You know, Borderlands kind of kicked that off, or the looter shooter. And there's other games that kind of do things similar, but Borderlands, I just want them to keep doing what they do. Now, they can steal some things from those games. I'm not saying they can't do any of that stuff. But, they need to focus on keeping the identity Borderlands. So, Destiny has the hub town. Now, I haven't played Destiny. I don't really know that much about it, other than there's PvP and weapon crafting and stuff and raids. And there is some good stuff in there that they could borrow. Always online? Fuck no. Borderlands and Gearbox has been great about, you know, addressing offline and solo players, so keep that. But the hub town is not a bad idea, because right now matchmaking is kind of poor in the game, so that would be a good idea. The raids, I think that's what they call them in Destiny. Sorry, I had a little interruption there. So Destiny's got their raids, which would be cool, and doing some more events, especially using Shift. They have that program. I would definitely encourage things like that from Destiny. The hub town, like I was saying, this game's got bad matchmaking, so adding in matchmaking could definitely be cool. I could definitely see some of that, and I think that would be really awesome. So there are things to take from Destiny, but, you know, PvP and their gun system, not really it. I mean, Destiny's skill trees are really lame compared to Borderlands. Their weapons are lame compared to Borderlands. So I don't want that stuff. I don't see the point of that stuff. And there goes my connection going crazy. I don't like that. Where's that guy? Oh yeah, you try to stomp me and I stomp you. That's how I roll. Now, the Division's going to be one that we're going to start to see a lot of comparisons out. Because, oh, the Division does this, let's do this. And this is going to be part of what I was talking about earlier with menu time. You don't want a lot of it. You want to be able to get in and out of your menu fast. So, one thing that Division is doing, well, two things. You have a lot more gear, I don't know if you have overall more gear slots, but more accessory slots. You have less gun slots in the Division. I think you have 2 guns, no, you have 3 gun slots instead of 4. But you get gloves and boots and shirts and all this stuff. And I don't really want all that. Now, the idea of doing more loot always kind of sounds tempting at first, but once you start adding in all these different accessories, so you have all these different accessory slots, and they all go towards armor or dexterity or some of this other stuff, you just add menu time. And that's one thing I was complimenting earlier about Gearbox. It's really easy to get in and out, alright? Here's my gear. I can get through this really quick. My skills I only have to hop into when I raise a level or respec. You know, I got my map, my missions. It's really simple, really fast. You know, alright, I'm going to switch that out. Switched. Done. I don't have to sit there in my menu for a really long time. And in the Division, between like the upgrading your guns and putting accessories on your guns and all this stuff, it was really, really poorly done because you just spent all day. Why are these guys not spawning? Oh, I wonder if that quest is open. Yeah, just spent so much time in the menus. These guys, no, not a long nail. Do I have a machine on her? Yeah, I'll do that for them. Just like that, I can kind of go through there pretty quickly. Where are they? Where's this crit spot? There's my... Alright, they're hitting a crit. Now they're separating. But yeah, that's on the gear stuff. So the next part I don't want is... Oh, ammo be gone. I'll get on the other side so I can shoot you. There we go. There we go. Okay, sorry, I was concentrating there on him. The other thing in Division is really tactical play, playing behind cover and stuff like that. And again, this is not what Borderlands is. It's not a tactical shooter. It's not your military-like shooters, Arma, or, you know, The Division, I guess, and Call of Duty or Battlefield, where we're ducking behind cover. This is the other reason I was doing the pre-sequel instead of Borderlands 2 here. You know, it's a run and gun, and the double jumps really, you know, really go towards that in a big way as well. And that kind of is the fabric of this kind of game too. With the skills, you know, you can heal as you go, or tank damage, or set up in different ways. But you know, it's not a duck behind cover and, you know, pop your head out, take a few shots, you know, wait for the enemies to come and hide behind a turret. It's kind of a cool find. That's just not what these games are, and it's kind of just, you know, it's frustrating to always hear these things of trying to turn these games into other games and not embracing these games for what they are. And everyone's got their own opinion and their own idea of fun and what they like. So, you know, I'm not really saying you're wrong per se. It's just I really disagree with that stuff. You know, I enjoy these games for what they are. And I don't want them to be other games. I want them to be the games that they are. And then, I guess my last note was RPG elements, but I kind of already covered that, you know. Trying to add in all those slots that RPGs add. You know, like gloves and boots and all that stuff. I mean, I wouldn't mind a few extra slots. The melee weapon slot's a popular one, and I get that one. I could definitely see that being a thing. But, you know, adding in all that other stuff, just, I don't know if they need it. I mean, I guess we could maybe get what is that? You know, boots could give you movement speed or some other stats, but there's already so many broken combos in these games, and it'd be kind of lame just like, alright, here's your movement speed. They would definitely have more to that, and it would just increase the chances of breaking things. So, yeah, I'm not really all in for, you know, really drastically increasing the amount of gear that we get. I'd rather just have them focus in and put more attention and effort into making more and cooler red text guns than, you know, adding in all these other new things that we don't really need and won't add that much to the game, really. And let's see, what else is there? So let me know what you guys think, I guess. That's all I've got to cover on this. It was mostly like, don't do any of this stuff, keep it the same, and that's kind of true. Like, I want it to expand, but I want it to stay the same. I want it to still be Borderlands. I don't want them to make another game, and I'm not worried about that. This is more in a response to other people, you know, kind of guess always demanding this stuff. I'm pretty sure their Gearbox is going to keep it to the fabric of what made these games successful in the first place. And there's a feel to them, and there's a world they've created, and I don't think they're going to abandon that and really change it up too much. So let me know what you guys think, what you guys want or don't want from other games. Like, would you like them to take more from games like Destiny? And that's a good example, because like I said, I don't play Destiny because after experiencing the difference between PC and Xbox 360, I never wanted to touch a console again in my life. My eyes were awakened to what video games are supposed to be like. And console's not it. It was a terrible, terrible experience compared to what these are. So, because of that, like I said, never played Destiny because I'm not interested in playing 30 FPS, 70 FOV games ever again in my life. That sounds like torture, and I'd rather just punch myself in the dick. Sorry for getting elitist there, but, you know. So let me know what features from games like Destiny you would like to see, or if you played the Division beta, or you know, if you're big into Skyrim and you want to see some of that stuff come over. You know, that's a popular one I hear from. You know, let me know. That's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.